Hello everyone, I'm Brazen Eagle and thank you for joining me here. So from Breitbart today, we have some mixed news regarding the construction and repair of the border wall between the United States and of course Mexico. So, Defense Secretary Mark Esper diverts $3.6 billion for 175 miles of border wall. Defense Secretary Mark Esper on Tuesday informed Congress he was diverting $3.6 billion for military construction projects to build 175 miles of border wall, a move that advanced one of President Trump's top campaign pledges and infuriated Democrats. Esper said in a letter dated September 3rd to the Senate Armed Services Committee Chairman Jim Inhofe. Pursuant to the authority granted to me in Section 2808, I have determined that 11 military construction projects along the international border with Mexico, with an estimated total cost of $3.6 billion, are necessary to support the use of the armed forces in connection with the national emergency. These projects will deter illegal entry, increase the vanishing time of those illegally crossing the border, and channel migrants to ports of entry. They will reduce the demand for Department of Defense personnel and assets at the locations where the barriers are constructed, and allow the redeployment of DoD personnel and assets to other high-traffic areas on the border without barriers. He directed the acting Army Secretary to begin the 11 projects expeditiously. The funds being used are actually from deferred military construction projects that are not scheduled for award until fiscal year 2020 or later, and do not include any family housing, barracks, or dormitory projects. About $1.8 billion of the funds will come from projects slated for outside, and the rest would come from projects from within the U.S. The funds for overseas projects will be prioritized for use first. Pentagon officials said during a press conference Tuesday that funding for 127 military construction projects would be delayed to build 175 miles of the border wall. The 11 projects include the replacement and new construction of border wall across El Paso and Laredo, Texas, Yuma, Arizona, and San Diego, and El Centro, California. Deputy Undersecretary of Defense Comptroller Elaine McCusker said construction is expected to begin in about 135 days where the federal government owns land along the border. Officials said they hope to backfill those diverted funds with money in the upcoming fiscal year 2020 budget request. It sounds like this is going to cost Congress, which means the taxpayer, a little bit more money. Army Lieutenant General Andrew W. Pappas, Director of Operations for the Joint Staff, said he expected that some of the 7,500 active duty and National Guard troops currently on the border would be able to leave once the projects are completed, but did not speculate on when that could be. Democrats expressed anger over the diversion of funds from military construction projects to the border wall. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi tweeted that canceling military construction projects to pay for Trump's wasteful, ineffective wall will undermine our national security and the quality of life and morale for troops. Well, it isn't canceling it, it's just diverting funds. She vowed to fight the use of Pentagon funds for the border wall in the courts. Chuck Schumer tweeted it was a slap in the face to U.S. troops that the president was willing to cannibalize military funding for the border wall. He said projects at West Point would be impacted. Trump declared a national emergency at the border in February, which allowed for the transfer of government funds towards the border wall. The Supreme Court ruled in July 5-4 that he had the authority to skirt Congress and transfer those funds. Earlier this year, the Pentagon redirected $2.5 billion to the border wall from a counter-drug fund for roughly 100 miles of border wall in New Mexico, Arizona, and California. The Supreme Court ruled in late July that the administration could transfer those funds. Last week, the Pentagon said it had leftover money to construct an additional 20 miles of border wall. As Breitbart News has previously reported, since Trump took office in January 2017, the Department of Homeland Security has completed about 60 miles of border wall construction, replacing existing, dilapidated fencing that was low to the ground and easy to climb over. The administration's goal is to build 500 miles by November 2020. So, overall, I would say that this is a mostly mixed, but mostly positive success. Yes, there is progress in building and maintaining a physical barrier between the U.S. and Mexico. That's good. However, this move will require the funds, or the diversion of funds, from some select military construction projects that may or may not really be necessary. Now, I don't know what those projects are, but we can only speculate what they could be, unless you actually are in the military. But then I know that if you're actually in the military, you don't exactly have freedom of speech, and that's okay. Now, that being said, I do understand that within the military branches, there is a need for updated equipment, at least when I last looked into the needs of the military. I know that a lot of the branches really need updated equipment. They need better planes, better fighters, just they need more funds to do their job at max capacity. I know that the branches make do with whatever they have, but oh well. Now, of course, this $3.6 million, $3.6 billion, I should say, won't cover the entire border, but at least it's a good step. Of course, this will hopefully have some sort of positive effect for Americans, but honestly, there needs to be more progress if you actually want to stop illegal immigration coming from Mexico or through Mexico into the U.S. Now, of course, you need to build an actual uninterrupted wall or fence that is incredibly difficult or even impossible to get around. But the more important thing to do is to eliminate any opportunity for illegal aliens to find work or make money in our country. Now, what do I mean? When it comes to illegal aliens entering or staying in the United States, some of them want to make money and send it back to their home countries. Just look at what happened in Mississippi about a month ago. There were almost 700 illegal aliens that were arrested in this state in Mississippi, and they were employed by food processing plants. Now, those illegal aliens shouldn't have been here to begin with, and if I remember correctly, half of them were just let go for no real good reason. We need to stop giving illegal aliens reasons to come to the country. But if we really want to get rid of illegal aliens, then we must go after the people that employ them. And that is the unfortunate realization in which we see that both Republicans and Democrats, both political parties here, they love illegal aliens. They love them. Who employs illegal aliens? It's some, not all, but some business owners. Not all business owners do this type of thing, but some business owners employ them because, let's face it, illegal aliens work for cheap most of the time compared to U.S. or native U.S. citizens. If these business owners can save money by illegally hiring foreign nationals instead of raising wages for working Americans, then they will. I'm not saying, though, that business owners are bad people, which they are not. But there are always some individuals within groups that can make that group look bad. We need to just take away these opportunities for illegal aliens. But like I said before, this is very, very unfortunate. Illegal immigration is all about power and money. Both parties see that illegal immigration is both the present and the literal future. Some business owners can become wealthier in the short term, while politicians will benefit from these illegal aliens when they are given amnesty in the long term. It's almost a win-win for the politicians, but a lose-lose for the actual people here in the United States. And it seems like none of the people actually care about their country or their future children in regards to dealing with this issue about illegal aliens. Sometimes it almost seems like it is taboo or even illegal to touch social issues that can and will hurt your country. Because this is all going to come and be a part of the breaking point in this country's history. Trust me, it's going to come within the next few decades. But, at the end of the day, while from Breitbart we had, the talk about building part of the wall, it's a good first step. But it will take so much more drastic action if you want to actually expunge illegal aliens from the country and stop these criminals from coming here. It's going to take drastic action that politicians refuse to support. But with that in mind, thank you very much for watching. I'm Brazen Eagle, and I do hope you have a great day.